In this video, I'll talk about how to pick the healthiest kibble for dogs and the 5 things a kibble must have to be considered the healthier option, plus the one premium kibble I recommend that exceeds all 5. Hi, I'm Dan Scott, canine nutrition and home remedy specialist, and if you're new here, hit the subscribe button below to stay in touch with all the latest videos that I do, and feel free to comment or ask questions below. In recent times, pet parents have become increasingly aware of the diet they are feeding their dogs. However, with the diverse dog food formulas and brands, it can be tough to figure out what really makes a kibble dog food really healthy, nutritious and balanced. A complete and balanced diet includes proteins, fats, carbohydrates, vitamins and minerals. Plus, water is essential to life and needed daily, but for decades now, pet food manufacturers have sold dog owners on the dry dog food or kibble that consists of up to 70% carbohydrates, many of them premium pet food manufacturers. And right here, up front and centre, is the elephant in the living room. Because carbohydrates are easy and cheap to produce, making dry food highly profitable but taking its toll on your dog's health. So with this in mind, here's 5 things a kibble must have to be considered the healthier option. Number 1 is perhaps the most important and something I want you to really take on board. And that's the fact that a canine, your dog, simply does not need carbohydrates in their diet to thrive, period. Dogs simply don't require carbohydrates in their diet, as evidenced by a dog's direct biological involvement from their wild ancestors whose diet consisted of a protein-rich ruminant source with very low carbohydrates and around 12.5% fats. This means your little chi dog is very much a carnivore, with hinging jaws that cut, fangs that grip, and a short digestive system with strong stomach acids to digest meat, bone, fats, and heavy bacterial loads. Obviously, if you're feeding a raw food diet, there's no issue here. But if you're feeding kibbles, what can you do? Because high carbohydrate kibbles produce insulin, spikes every time your dog eats a bowl of kibble, which can eventually lead to diabetes, and is an epidemic today for that very reason. So number 1 is to feed a kibble with as low carbohydrate content as possible. Not an easy task, as it takes around 30% carbohydrates just to hold a kibble together in the manufacturing process. However, there is one pet food producer, literally just one, that has solved this issue with a kibble that is only 5 to 6% carbohydrate content. Now, not only that, but your dog won't suffer the low nutritional benefit of carbohydrates because this US kibble maker understands that the dog needs high protein content from animal sources and correct fat levels. They even use natural vitamins and minerals, not synthetic, a must in my opinion, but more on them later. And here's a really useful tip on how to know the carbohydrate percentage levels in dog food by looking at the guaranteed analysis panel on the back of the bag. Pet food manufacturers hide the carbohydrate levels in the food. Many simply don't add them. Look at the guaranteed analysis in the ingredients panel on the bag of kibble. It's the pet food industry's version of the nutrition panel on human food products in the US and Canada. There you'll see 5+ entries. The starch percentage will most likely be missing. You'll see crude protein, crude fat, crude fiber, moisture and ash in percentage values, for example. And if you don't see ash, just make it 7% and add it. As I said, most likely the entry for dietary starch will be missing. This is the carbohydrates you'll now be able to easily work out. So add up the 4 numbers of the nutrition panel to get a value. This includes crude protein, crude fat, moisture and ash. Then subtract from 100. And the remaining number is the estimated carbohydrate value in the food. Now you know the carbohydrate level of that bag of kibble. Number 2. Following on from number 1 is that the ingredients in kibble must not contain corn, rice, potatoes, wheat, soy or barley. These ingredients are high in carbohydrates, often GMO or genetically modified organisms, contaminated with mycotoxins, and with high levels of glyphosate in them. Carbohydrates in pet food convert to simple sugars very quickly once consumed. This spikes insulin at every meal, causing stress on the pancreas, liver and kidneys, unchecked yeast growth, and leading to ear infections, urine infection, itchy skin, allergies, obesity, diabetes, and even cancer. And number 3, As I just mentioned, the kibble must contain naturally derived vitamins and minerals because the synthetic alternatives is not very well absorbed or even widely recognised by your dog's digestive system, and often seen as foreign objects and expelled from the body as smelly, expensive and very concentrated urine. Synthetics also lead to health issues with acidosis, stones and UTIs. So it's important to pick a kibble with natural vitamins and minerals. Number 4 is the protein levels of the kibble. They need to be as high as possible, preferably 30% plus on a dry weight basis. That's important. And has to be at least 75% animal-based protein. So make sure that the first 3 ingredients on the nutrition panel are animal-based. And you want twice the protein levels of the fat content of the kibble. So if the kibble is 26% protein, you want 13% fats. And number 5, the kibble must have ingredients you know the origin of and where they were made. This one is tricky when the manufacturer states proudly made in the USA and the ingredients are shipped over from China. So always be chasing up the pet food manufacturer for their pet food ingredient origins and stay vigilant. Back to that pet food manufacturer that creates a very low carbohydrate kibble at just 6%, and their name is Ketona Natural Pet Foods. This premium kibble is around 46% protein, with 90% of that animal-based, with 0 fillers like corn, rice, potatoes, wheat, soy or barley that contribute to inflammation, allergies and diabetes. Ketona kibble contains between 11% and 16% fat, which is at balanced levels, and the vitamins and minerals are natural. And I'll leave a link to a video all about Ketona kibble in the description below and at the link above. And lastly, Ketona kibble, a premium option, is grain-free, but unlike most pet foods, is not packed with high-carb fillers like corn, rice, potatoes, wheat, soy or barley. This means your dog won't suffer the low nutritional benefit of carbohydrates and won't have constant insulin spikes every time they eat a bowl of kibble, which eventually leads to diabetes. So this kibble is suited to diabetic dogs and a real plus. Oh, and they're 100% open about where they source all their ingredients from. And I'll leave a link to the Ketona in the description below and at the link above. And if you got genuinely useful content here today, tap the like button and subscribe for the latest natural dog health information. And I'll see you again. Take care. Bye bye.